That members of the National Automobile Dealers Association just stepped out of a meeting where they tried to urge Congress to oppose any drastic dealership cuts. Were they successful? Here to talk about that is Edward Tonkin, Vice Chairman of the NADA. He joins us now from our Washington newsroom with an update. Ed, welcome to the show. Let me ask, first of all, how the meeting went. I mean, you just got out of this meeting. Who did you talk to? What did you accomplish?
Well, yesterday we spent the day on the Hill, about 100 dealers that went up to talk to Congress. This morning we just finished a meeting with the White House task force, the Auto Task Force, and both Steve Ratner and Ron Bloom and Brian Deese from the White House were in the meeting. And we had a very frank discussion. It's a sad day for our industry, I'll tell you that.
Let me ask about the dealers' options. I mean, if you're a dealership and you get shut down, how hard is it to switch to another automaker and sell a different merchandise?
Well, it's very problematic because under our franchises with the manufacturers, they're for a given product in a given area. So chances are that somebody else has a franchise for a competing make in that area. And essentially, there's going to be a vacancy left, and the dealer will not really have a lot of options. You know, this has become a reality right now, and Chrysler is moving forward. I looked at the list just briefly when we got out of the meeting and saw a lot of friends on there. And me a lot of heartache. And then tomorrow, as you mentioned, General Motors is going to start notifying dealers. And I think what we're really doing with the task force at this juncture is pleading for fairness. I mean, they have a lot of influence with the manufacturers, and we really need to have fairness out there for the dealers that are going to suffer and try to provide a softer landing for them.
How, you know, it's never been fully clear to me how these car makers expect to save money on fewer dealers. Don't you sell more cars if you have more outlets to do so?
Actually, it's been a lot of misinformation. You're exactly right. The dealers are truly not a cost to these manufacturers. In fact, the irony here is that the dealers provide 90% of the revenue to these auto manufacturers. If we don't, as dealers, don't buy the cars, they don't have any revenue. So at the same time as they're trying, this task force, to make sure through this bankruptcy that you emerge with a viable car company, you're at the same time essentially taking 30 to 40% of its customer base away. Makes it very difficult. And the dealers aren't a cost. The dealers buy the cars from the manufacturers, they buy the parts, they buy the signs, they buy the tools, they buy the training. It's just kind of a misguided approach, really.
Why then does the task force or the car makers, why do they want to shut down so many dealerships? I mean, what do they argue they will save in costs? You know,
it's confounding to even us. This was our third meeting with them, and I think that they truly want to do the right thing. As dealers, we know the manufacturers have a hand in this also. I mean, they have a chance, as Rahm Emanuel said, never waste a good crisis, and certainly we're in one right now. And I think that they view this as an opportunity to get their channel strategies in line. But overall, I mean, you can increase the throughput of a smaller dealer body. It doesn't mean as a company you're going to be selling more cars into the market, though.
Let's talk about individual dealers who want to appeal. I mean, is there a process for those dealers? Is there a chance that they prevail in that attempt?
You know, good question. I've heard, and this is only speculation, but I did hear that Jim Press was attributed to him a statement that the list for Chrysler dealers was not appealable, that it was final. And that creates a lot of dismay on our part. The General Motors dealers who will be notified tomorrow, there are about 1,200 of them, I think they will have a period of time to make a business case. And I think really that there'll be some time in the Chrysler side to make a business case for why your dealership should continue to exist.
Ed, is this good news at least for the dealers that remain alive? Because it would seem to me it still hurts the brand so much if you're in an urban area and you see half the dealerships of that car brand shut down.
Oh, it definitely hurts the brand. First of all, you're going to have a lot of unemployment, a lot of people that have been hardworking for years and years just put on the street with a skill set that necessarily doesn't provide for a quick reemployment somewhere. You're going to see, anytime you see businesses close, it has a negative effect on the brand. Will it be good for other dealers? In the long run, if the company emerges and down the road becomes viable, of course.
All right. Hey, Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Ed Tonkin there from the NADA.